Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to another episode of Glass Half Full, a podcast and a safe platform where we talk with a variety of teachers, entrepreneurs, spiritualists, uplifters, givers, shakers, and serenaders. Everyone has a lesson to learn and a lesson to share. Let's use our life experiences to enrich someone's heart, mind, spirit, and soul. Through sharing our experiences, we can be a learning inspiration for one another. I'm your host, Chris Levins. Let's welcome today's guest. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to another episode of Glass Half Full, a podcast and a safe platform where we talk with a variety of teachers, entrepreneurs, spiritualists, uplifters, givers, shakers, and serenaders. Everyone has a lesson to learn and a lesson to share. Let's use our life experiences to enrich someone's heart, mind, spirit, and soul. Through sharing our experiences, we can be a learning inspiration for one another. I'm your host, Chris Levins. If you love the show and want to support us, you can become a monthly subscriber or make a one-time donation. Just look for the heart icon or the support link on our podcast platform. We're so grateful for your continued support. It helps us keep making this show even better. Let's welcome today's guest. Today's guest is Ros Place. Ros Place is a guardian angel communicator, wife, mom, and author of the Channel of Clarity Method book with Trissan, her guardian angel. Originally from South London, England, since 2023, Ros has been traveling the world with her husband Eddie and 2 teenage sons, guided by her guardian angel, Trissan. For over 20 years, Ros has helped truth seekers find trustworthy answers to life's questions by teaching people how to communicate with their guardian angels. As a born communicator with angels, Ros has helped hundreds of individuals to communicate directly with their own guardian angels. Ros's mission is simple: to help people receive trustworthy answers and transform their lives by assessing the wisdom of their highest guide, their guardian angel. Let's welcome Ros Place. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Chris. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for taking some time to be a guest here on Glass Half Full. We're so happy to have you today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, you're very welcome. Okay, let's jump right on in. I like to ask all my guests this first question. I believe that our lives are in spiritual design. Can you share your life layout or blueprint with everyone? This is how you grew up, where, your family lifestyle?
Grew up with my sister. I was 6. And growing up, I spent most of my time that I can remember outdoors. Even though we lived in a suburb, we had a really amazing garden with cherry trees and flowers, and things used to get grown out the back garden. I remember plants being grown up against the wall so they got all the sun, and we used to get peaches every now and again, which sounds wild when you think about England, but it was a magical place. And I used to always be out on my bike. Yeah, because I grew up in the 70s. There was so much more freedom then. Like, it really was just be back before it's dark. I was always out on my bike with my friends, having fun, exploring. And I think at that time, growing up, a lot more time kind of outside of the family home and doing things which really taught you about the world. So that was my upbringing. But I was always kind of different. I don't think my parents really knew what to do with me. I didn't follow a kind of traditional path or route. I was a bit of a anomaly. So I always kind of grew up feeling different. And it wasn't really until I went to a secondary school, which is in England what happens when you get to 11. You move from being in a primary school setting where you're very young, you start age 5, you go all the way through to age 11. And then I went into a secondary school. And when you're 11 in the part of England that I grew up, you take a test. And that test is called the 11 plus. And what that does is age 11, it creates a kind of 2-tier school system. So you get all the kids who pass that test go to a grammar school. They are what considered to be the success stories, those that are going to go on to thrive and succeed in their lives. And the other lot, the other majority, go to a comprehensive school. And they are what is considered or viewed to be, the ones that aren't really going to get anywhere in life, the ones that aren't very smart, and they're not going to succeed or thrive. And it was a real dog-eat-dog environment. Now, my parents wanted me to pass my 11 plus and go to the grammar school. And I can remember the day when we were all given our letters. So it was a time when you were given a letter and you didn't open it because it wasn't addressed to you. I can remember
Speak
taking
on
this
it,
test.
yes.
Yeah, I can remember taking this test, and a little while later, all of me and my friends in junior school, primary school, were given this envelope, and I wasn't allowed to open it because it was addressed to my parents. But all of my friends had a pink kind of letter inside. Do you remember those envelopes that were like brown paper and then you had like the plastic or like the kind of trace paper window so you could just see the address? And mine wasn't pink, mine was yellow. And I can remember going home and giving it to my mum and going off on my bike probably, and I hadn't passed my 11 plus.
Oh, wow.
So I went to a So that shame and like feeling of disappointment was the first kind of memory that I have. And then the reality of going to this comprehensive school, which was really dog eat dog, was my next experience. And age 11, everything changed. So that's a little bit of an insight into kind of my life. Growing up in the 70s, it was a different world, I think.
No, I was born in the late 70s, so I can't really say I remember it. But definitely that time period and moving up is definitely not the same as it is now. We can say that for sure. Wow. Can you bring us up to, so when did you first realize that you had a special gift to be able to communicate with angels?
Yeah. Well, my first memory is of angels.
Wow.
I don't have that many early memories as a child, but the ones that I do have, I must have been around between 2 and 3, so really young. And I can remember laying in my little bed and all of the angels being around me, all of the light and all of the energy, and being communicated with, being loved and being shown things. I would go to bed and I would wake up and know that I'd been taught something, shown something, developed in some way.
Wow.
So they are my earliest memories. And up until age 11, I just thought that I experienced and saw and knew the same as everybody else. It didn't occur to me that it was different at all. And in junior school, when I was young, we would play. We'd play, and I think a lot of the ways that the gift that I had, was just kind of put down to, oh, she's just playing, she's just young, it's imagination. And so it was kind of accepted. But once I tried to in this comprehensive school, dog-eat-dog environment, kind of continue in that same way, I very much realised that that was not going to work. I couldn't be that way anymore. It was going to make me stand out in the wrong kind of way.
Okay.
And so age 11, I closed down the whole connection that I had with angels. All of that. Yeah. I can remember being in the school playground. We had these geography huts. They were built, I think, just after the war. They were like prefabs, like when there was a lot of bombing in the war, and they never got replaced. They were just supposed to be temporary, but they stayed there. And I can remember standing outside the geography huts, and I remember saying to Trissan, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Go away. This is making me stand out. This is making me different. I'm becoming a target. I feel uncomfortable. I don't want this anymore. And it was such a heartbreaking and sad time, but that is what happened. He never went, and there were a number of occasions where he actually intervened and saved my life. But I did not want to stand out. And it's interesting when people talk about being born with a gift, it could not be further from how you feel about that at the time. I did not consider it to be a gift because I didn't know anyone like me. I couldn't talk to anyone about it. Everyone that I shared just the smallest things with, I could see by the look in their eyes that this was not a conversation which was going to go well in the right direction. So, age 11, I closed everything down. There were a number of times when Trissan intervened. And when the next time that I fully opened was when I gave birth to our first son. And he's 20 now. And when I was pregnant and gave birth, that is when I reconnected with Trissan. And that is when I began my professional career, helping people to connect with their guardian angels and understand about how the angels can help.
Now, when you reconnected with him, was there something said? Was it the moment that you had the child that it naturally connected back to him? How did you reconnect back with him?
Yes, that's a great question. It wasn't something that I chose. When you have a baby, for me anyway, something happens in you. You are creating a new life. You're carrying a life inside of you. And when you give birth, you are opening up in a way that is dramatic and intense and extreme. And you're flooded with all different types of emotions. And it's a really extreme physical experience. And through that opening up, like this cracking open happened, I was so vulnerable that I could not the way I describe it is from like age 11 until I had our first child, our first son, Zed, before I had him, I felt like I was sitting on top of a really full suitcase. I felt like I was just trying to keep a lid on it, push it down, stop it opening. And then when I was pregnant and then when I gave birth, I could not simultaneously keep the lid on it and become this new person that was the mother of our children. And so it was a physical reconnection. I felt him physically, like with that cracking open, there was space for him again, and it was a physical reconnection. But the wonderful thing about your guardian angels is there's never any repercussions. There's never any talk about what happened in between. There's never anything communicated to you that makes you feel bad or wrong or uncomfortable. Your guardian angel has a beautiful way of connecting with you relating to you, sharing communication, telling you things, helping you in the way that you're receptive to it. Never in a way that makes you put your back up. Never in a way that makes you think, oh, I'm going to hesitate to ask for help because last time, I was told off for not doing something properly. It's the complete reverse. And so it was just beautiful. And that's actually when I wrote my first book, Like Working with Angels. I wrote my first book with Trissan. It was when I sat with our eldest nursing, and I had so much time. And because I'm always wanting to be busy and do something, it was the perfect time to just sit there with a little pad and just write out what Trissan gave to me. And that's when we wrote the book, Like Working with Angels.
Wow, this is so amazing. Let's hear a word from one of our sponsors, Body and Voice Studios. Want to improve your singing, strengthen your vocal projection, or refine your diction? Now, you can take voice lessons from anywhere in the world with Body and Voice Studios. Their expert vocal coaches offer personalized online lessons so you can learn to sing from the comfort of your home, no matter where you are. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced singer, they'll give you the tools and understanding you need to use your voice with confidence. Mention Glass Half Full Podcast to receive $5 off your first trial lesson. Visit www.bodyandvoicestudios.com to get started today. Again, visit www.voicestudios.com. For people who are new to the concept, could you describe what a guardian angel is and how do they differ from other spiritual guides?
Yeah, that's a lovely question. Your guardian angel is your personal guide. They are your highest personal guide in this lifetime. Your guardian angel is with you from the moment of conception. So every single life that is conceived, whether that life goes on to be born, a guardian angel is assigned. And that's a beautiful thing to know.
Wow.
And when you are conceived, you connect with your guardian angel. They are energy, and you become physical at that point of conception. And that's something interesting that Trissan has been talking about in terms of when life begins. So from the point of conception, you become physical, your guardian angel is assigned, and they're with you all the way through your mother carrying you, inside of her womb, and all the way through birth, all the way through your life. And they are with you to remind you of your life purpose. They're with you to remind you of everything that you knew and were excited about and were born in order to experience in a physical body. They are there to remind you through their energy, through the wonderful energy frequency that they contain, that they hold. And they're always radiating that to you. They're always reminding you of who you've come to be, what you've come to do, in order that you can experience fulfillment. Because life purpose is that feeling of knowing that you're doing the right thing, knowing that you're being who you came to be. And your guardian angel contains all of the strengths, like the toolkit. That means that you will be able to fulfill that easily, smoothly, without struggle and without effort. And your guardian angel is always reminding you of those things and guiding you towards that fulfillment of your life purpose. And it's for you to fulfill your purpose, for the satisfaction that is experienced through that reality. But it's not only for you. Because when you fulfill your purpose, when you live the life that you came here to live, when you simply put are happy, content, have choice, and freedom to express yourself in ways which are aligned with who you really are, authentically being you, you contribute positively to the expansion of the universe. And that is what we are all here to do, to contribute positively to the expansion of the universe as individuals and as a whole, as humanity.
Yeah, I love that. It's true. This is it, to have that experience. Nicely put. So,
Thank you.
your guardian angel, did he introduce himself? He told you his name, obviously.
That's such a good question. I've got to answer that.
Okay.
Right. So I was thinking about this actually before we came on. It's interesting you should ask that. So when Trissan and I have always been together, we just like you and your guardian angel have always been together. We've always been together. And I knew him from my earliest memory. I knew it was him. I knew him and I knew what he looked like, a vibrational frequency, beautiful energies is what Trissan is. And I never, ever asked his name. I never wondered what his name was because it was just him. I didn't communicate about him to others. He was who he was. And it's so interesting because it wasn't until quite a lot further down the line where I was able to begin to communicate about Trissan that someone said, well, what's his name? What is your guardian angel's name? And that's when I asked him. And that's when he told me his name was Trissan. It's very strange to explain it like that, but that's how it was.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because there was no need for you to have to ask him his name. You guys were, you were already in communication with him. So, and he knew who you were. So it makes sense on that sense. But yeah, the fact that when you did ask, he was able to tell you like, oh yeah, this is my name.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really lovely name. I really like his name.
I've never heard it before.
No, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, Trissan. It's a lovely name. He's a male energy angel. So guardian angels are male energy or female energy.
Oh, wow.
Now so it doesn't mean that they are male and female. It means that they express themselves as what we might consider to be more female energy or more male energy. And the main reason they do that is so that you can refer to them as he or she. They are he or she, your guardian angel.
Okay.
That's an important point. Something else about that that's interesting is that I find through my work with people that their guardian angel being he or a she is actually very significant for them. Very significant. So for me, Trissan being a male energy angel is interesting and relevant because I had a really difficult time with men in my life. My mum and dad separated when I was young. I had a really difficult relationship with my biological father, also then my stepfather. I had some incidents through my life which were challenging with men. And so my relationship with men, my trust in men, my connection, my ability to have healthy relationships with men, which I really enjoy with my beautiful husband, Eddie, now, was developed through my relationship with Trissan. So that's another really significant point, and that's definitely something I see with clients. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Wow. Can you walk us through an example of something that you would be working with a client, and what would you do and what would you talk about?
Oh, wow. So there's a couple of ways that I
just something simple.
Yeah. So I suppose for many people, the beginning of our work together is their guardian angel reading when I connect with their guardian angel for them. And that, so that's something that I love to do for people. It's an amazing opportunity to help them to know what their life purpose strengths are, what their guardian angel's name is only for you. It is between you and your guardian angel. And so that process is something that is just beautiful, being able to communicate, channel directly from their guardian angels. People react in all kinds of different ways. Sometimes, you see them just like literally jaw drop, like mouth wide open. Sometimes people find it to be very touching emotionally. Sometimes people will cry, joy tears, not sad tears. Sometimes people will be really energized and excited and buzzy. People have all different kinds of responses to that connection with their guardian angels, but it's always positive. It's always loving. It's always kind, but it's clear. The joy of communicating with your guardian angel is that you can ask a question about anything and you will receive a trustworthy answer that you are then encouraged to apply to your life. Like, here's the answer. Now go and put it into action in your life. And I love seeing people not just passively ask questions that satisfy their curiosity, but take that next step into asking questions where they're able to create something in life. Because that's with their guardian angel, because that is the purpose, co-creation. So people go on to write books with their guardian angels. People go on to create businesses with their guardian angels. People go on to create or attract, develop new relationships, improve their health. Because part of what I love about communicating with Trissan is that I can access information which I don't know about, which I couldn't possibly understand. I'll give you an example. So at the moment, I'm writing a book, a channeled book with Trissan, and it's about the menopause. So I'm like in my 50s, and that's a relevant subject for me. He's provided me with answers which have really brought about massive improvements in my overall health as well as my experience of menopause. And I have an E in biology, Chris, right? And I'm not wearing that as a badge of honor. I'm not saying that because I'm proud of it. But what I'm trying to communicate is that the information that Trissan is providing me with is outside of my reach, my understanding. It is medical, and it is, well, not medical, it is scientific, it is biological. And I could not possibly access that through my own knowledge base. And this is the liberation that people experience with their guardian angels, is they ask a question about anything, something personal to you, something that's meaningful and matters to you, and about any topic, and you will receive a trustworthy answer. And you know it's trustworthy because you apply it to your life. You practically put it into action, and the evidence of that builds.
Wow. Oh my gosh. This is amazing. This is amazing. When you say when they get a chance to meet their guardian angel, is it something that happens instantly? Are we talking about 10 minutes, a couple of sessions?
So connecting with your guardian angel, when I connect people with their guardian angels, it happens within probably about 2 minutes of us meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I will channel. The process has actually evolved quite a lot with my own evolution. To begin with, when I would connect people with their guardian angels, I would be telling them. So I would connect with Trissan, I would connect, and I would give them that information. But now it is directly from their guardian angel. And it was always from their guardian angel, but I would be like the translator, if you like. Okay. Yeah. But now it's directly from their guardian angel, and it's instantaneous. And we will explore, and their guardian angel will provide them with guidance about every aspect of their life. They will share their name, what their name means, the overarching theme of their life purpose, and their strengths. Wow. I think that's really important to know what your strengths are. Like, often we think that our natural ways of being don't have value, or we don't see how they fit in and can be used in our lives. And often what comes through in at least one of those strength areas is something which people are naturally, and they just don't feel confident maybe to be. And that's very fundamental. But other life purpose strengths which relate to, abilities that you have in this lifetime to help you to fulfill your purpose are, immediately shared in order that they can be benefited from.
Wow. And how is it that they're communicating with their guardian angel? Is it like in the mind? Is it...
That's such a great question. You ask really brilliant questions. So it's like, so when I teach people how to communicate, so what happened was, because I was born with this ability where I could communicate with angels, when I started to help people 20 years ago professionally, people said, look, can you just teach me to do what you do? And I couldn't, because I didn't know how I did it. I was born doing it. And it was impossible for me to explain it. And I've written loads of courses, and, I've written books, and I've supported people to make massive progress personally and spiritually. But that final bit of, can you show me how to do it for myself? I just really struggled to understand how I could do that. And so I would do it for them. And that was really overwhelming, because I reached a point where I realized that I just couldn't do it for everybody. There were only so many hours in the day. I only had so much energy, and it was impossible for me to help everybody, for me to be that individual that did that for everybody.
Yes.
And I really, it was a lot. That's exactly what it was. And I nearly just completely threw in the towel. I nearly gave up. Now, this is like a turning point. I was just like, I can't do it. I just can't. And I really stepped back from the work that I did. And it was a really difficult time for me. At this time, we were in the middle of COVID. And this is where it kind of reached a point of like a tipping point. And there was lockdowns, and I just come back from a trip to Los Angeles. So I used to visit America a lot. I had a really fascinating experience when Manny was, so our youngest was 5, so like 10 years ago. And I was sitting in the living room. We lived in Sheffield at the time, which was, no, I beg your pardon, we lived in Deal on the south coast at the time. And I said to Eddie, my husband, I want to go to America. I'd never been before. And he said, brilliant, then you should go. Where do you want to go? I said, I want to go to Los Angeles. I've always wanted to go to Los Angeles. So he said, fantastic, do it. I think it's a great idea. I didn't know anyone. I'd never been there before. I'd seen it in the movies, but that was about as far as it went. So I booked to go to Los Angeles, not knowing anybody, on my own, with young children that Eddie very lovingly said he would take care of while I was away. So I went, and when I was there, I had a random meeting with a cousin's cousin. While I was over there, my mum said, oh, I've just run into so-and-so. You should really meet up with her. She's there. She loves seeing people from home. She loves hearing English accents, And we had a coffee, and we were chatting about the work that I did. And she said, you know what, you should really meet my friend. And me meeting her friend led to me meeting another friend and another friend and another friend. And I would do readings for people in the music industry and people from film, the whole kind of Los Angeles thing. And I had a friend who said, what you've done is amazing for me. I really would like you to meet my boss. So I said, yeah, sure. Of course I'll meet your boss. So I was given an address in Malibu, And just the usual thing, please go here. Here's the address, get in the Uber. I didn't know where anything was. Drove along the Pacific Highway. I remember it really clearly, and started to kind of climb up the road that takes you up Malibu, all these different checkpoints all the way. Anyway, I found myself in the home of a billionaire, right? He's a name that you would know. And we had the most amazing time. He was gracious and it was so much fun. I tuned into his guardian angel. We connected with his guardian angel. We had a wonderful time. On that same trip, this was just before COVID, on that same trip, I was introduced to an agent and a manager. Had really long meetings. I was just asked to go for a cup of tea, and I'd arranged actually to meet a friend. And this cup of tea with this agent, I was there for 3 hours, and I was late for my friend. Anyhow, I was on the point of signing with an agent and a manager, and then COVID struck. There's a point to this story. I'll come back round.
No worries.
I got home to England, all excited, with we're all going to go out there. We're going to meet my manager. He wants to meet the kids. He wants to meet Eddie. It's a family thing. We're going to get the visa sorted out. And then COVID struck. And you might remember that you couldn't fly or go anywhere.
Yes.
You couldn't do anything. Yeah. And the whole of that industry withered very quickly. There was you couldn't produce films, you couldn't do in-person things. Everything shut down. People were just about managing to, make it by, which is the same for every area of life at that time. And that door closed. And at the same time that door closed, we lost our home.
Oh my gosh.
My husband was in events. He used to work in events, which meant he used to do the IT for events, and there were no events. So that door closed. And again, I had a feeling of total vulnerability. I was losing my home, my dream of what I felt it was my dream at the time. But I don't know about you, Chris. Sometimes you can look back on your life and you can think, thank goodness I didn't get the thing that I thought I wanted then.
Yes, so true.
Yeah. So that door closed and I was vulnerable. My ego was on the floor. We were so frightened about our money situation. I had to tell my boys that we were losing our home. Everything was collapsing around our ears. And Trissan at this time said, right, now let's sit down and I'll show you how to show other people how to do this for themselves, how to channel with their guardian angels. Now that all of this noise and distraction and shiny objects, now that there's really nowhere else to go, now we'll do it. And I was able to hear it then.
Wow.
In a way that I didn't want to hear it before. And that's when he showed me, gave me the channel of clarity method. It's just step by step, takes you all the way from wherever you are, connecting with your guardian angel and learning to channel. And everybody who I take through that program channels. I actually make a promise. I say that I promise that I will teach you how to do this and I will support you every step of until you. And it's been 3 years now, almost, of teaching people how to channel their guardian angels. And there are people out there in the world that communicate directly with their guardian angels. And from all walks of life, Chris, to begin with, it was kind of spiritual people. But now we have people inside of Channel of Clarity who are from all different fields, from fields of psychology, from fields of physics and real kind of pure science, from the fields of medicine, ER doctors, consultants, people from nursing backgrounds,
Wow.
all saying to themselves, there must be more than this. There must be more information. There must be more truth than I know of in this situation that I'm in now. All channeling their guardian angels and quietly applying that to their lives to the benefit of their loved ones and their patients, and receiving information which is really changing the world. Quietly, really quietly, making a massive impact in the world. So that's a long story. But
No, it wasn't long at all. It was very intuitive. Yeah, there's a lot that's going on with that. I wanted to ask, with you saying about the channel of clarity method, what is the thing that makes it unique compared to other spiritual practices? What would you say defines it in a sense?
Well, from my point of view, what makes it different is that everybody who I teach channels. Like my husband Eddie, right? So recently I've run this as a very small group program because I've always been able to do it one-to-one with people. And this is interesting because it used to take a whole year for people to go through that process with me. Now it takes 12 weeks or less. 12 weeks less to verbally channel. And it comes with a promise. I promise that I will teach you how to do this and I can give that promise because I know through the experience that I've had over the years that everyone gets that result. And Eddie, my husband, he's just learned to do this with a small group that I brought together. So he's now verbally channeling. And he said, yeah. And he said, something that he said is, I didn't doubt the process. I didn't doubt that it could be done. He said, I just doubted whether I could do it.
Okay.
He said, I've tried stuff before and it hasn't worked. And it takes so much from you when you don't have an outcome that you've given time and your heart and energy to. And I think what else makes it different is it is a really clear step-by-step process. It's not complicated, but it's also not vague. You just take 12 steps. You start by awakening the heart center, calling in light, becoming charged with the light of your life purpose strengths, and then you create your channel of clarity. That's the first 4 steps. And then after that, we go on a wonderful journey of helping you to open your communication channels, helping you to develop your ability to hear and also see, and helping you to understand how to receive messages, ask questions, helping you also to create the story of your life with your guardian angel. Embodiment is something which is really important part of the process, and then verbally channeling. So in terms of it being unique, it comes from Trissan. It's directly from him, and it's a process that everyone who I have taken through it succeeds in. And that feels really good to me. It feels really great to be able to help people to get that result, not just for the wonderful opportunity that gives them in their lives, but to put my name and myself and my integrity and my energy to something where I know that when I welcome someone in 12 weeks' time, they're going to be doing exactly what they hoped. And that means a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
That means a lot.
Well, that's a guarantee. That's a guarantee that we're coming out to get what we're trying to get. So you can't beat that. You can't beat that at all. Now, I just wanted to clarify for everybody, when you say channel, can you explain what that is?
Yeah, great. So thank you. That reminds me actually of mentioning about the mind. So channeling is communicating. Let me explain the process. You mentioned about the mind. I'm sorry that I didn't answer that. Let's come back down to that. So when you connect with your guardian angel, you connect in a way which is energetic, and it is not through the mind. It is through a channel of clarity, a communication kind of tube almost, just between you and your guardian angel. And when you channel, you speak out your guardian angel's answer to the question that you've asked. You're present to it, but you're not influencing it. You're not colouring it. And that's really important because I teach specifically verbal channeling. And just let me pause here and just introduce something. Verbal channeling is not speaking in tongues. Verbal channeling is not you doing weird things or behaving in a strange manner. Verbal channeling is an experience as the channeler of being in a space of spa-like peace. And it's not forced, it's not something which you have to work hard or strive to accomplish and achieve. We actually teach a process, which means that even if you found meditation hard, which I put my hands up, I've got a very active mind. I'm definitely not this Zen state meditation person at all.
Thank you for your truth on that. I would have thought the opposite. So
absolutely not. No, I'm really not. I've written lots of meditations, but I don't engage with meditation in that way. I'm busy, I'm active. And also, honestly, continuing with that honesty, I like things to be productive. Like meditating for some people is, yes, of course, it is that Zen-like space. It is something which brings peace. It's extremely calming and soothing. It brings health, all different kinds of benefits. But for me, I like to meditate or have that meditative experience for it to actually do something. For me to come away and think, I've got information. I have accomplished something. There is something that I've been given that I can then benefit from immediately in my life. So channeling is communicating. It's asking a question and it's speaking out the answer. And what I teach people to do is speak it out and record it as an audio file. And then that audio file is transcribed very easily. And then I encourage people to listen back. Listen back. And when you listen back, because you have been present to it, but not influencing it, you're able to hear things which you would never otherwise have remembered. When you channel, you're free. You are able to, it's like a spa space. I describe it as a relief from being myself. That's a big part of channeling, quite besides the information that comes through. So it is like you are able to experience a way of being which is peaceful and calm, where there is space, where there is no time, where there is stillness, where you are able to be present to the reality of who you are in the most loving and positive, uplifting and empowering way. And through that space, enjoying that space, you're able to speak out what your guardian angel wants you to know. And you record it so that you can refer back to it. You record it so that you can have that chronologically as a reference, as a guidance tool. And then you apply that to your life and you move on. The channeling will only ever give you the next step. That's really important. So when you ask a question, you will be given the next step, the next piece of information. It's never blah, 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 blah. It's the next step. And you see that if I heard that a while ago, I would have found that to be insubstantial, frustrating. But it is so satisfying and so effective because all you need is the next step. Because when you have the next step and you apply that, you're able to see the next thing. You're in a different place. You've moved forward, and then the next step comes, and then the next step comes. And that's how we travel the world with Trissan. He tells us, right, go here, go here, go here, go here.
And I don't tells you how long to stay at each place?
Well, that's interesting. What tells us how long to stay in each
Okay.
place is generally a very practical thing, which is how long we have the capacity to be there in terms of like most countries will allow you to be there for 90 days.
That's true. Yes.
Some places without a visa. Some places like 100 days. So that punctuates our time. But once we've been told to go somewhere, we know that it's going to be a place that we're all going to enjoy being, that we're all going to benefit from being, that is going to provide us with what we need for that next step. So that's what kind of dictates the pattern. And so at the moment we're in Santiago de Chile. We're here until Saturday, and then we go to nearer to the coast in Chile. So we're having a different kind of experience. Yeah. And then after that, we don't know, because I'm not interested to know. I don't care to know. And that might sound bizarre, but you're peacefully enjoying the experience that you're having, knowing that it's where you're supposed to be. And this is a metaphor for all things in life, not just the traveling. And you can just enjoy being there and having the experience, knowing that the next question will be the next step.
I like that. Just taking it step by step, enjoying being present to enjoy the moment while you have it. Oh, that's so great. I love that. I wanted to ask, how can people learn the difference between a message from their guardian angel compared to just their own thoughts or wishful thinking?
Yeah, that's a great one. And that's important. So your guardian angel's communication will feel familiar to you. It will feel comforting. It will feel, there will be a resonance which is familiar, but it is not you. It's interesting. When I teach people, depending on, so one of the things that I will do is I'll ask them to send me through, if they want extra help, to send me through their channeled messages when they're learning to channel. And one lady sent it through. This was in the group setting, actually, in the group program that I just ran. She sent it through and she said something like, she said, I feel like I'm just talking to myself. And she was. She was just talking to herself, because going back to your comment, she was thinking about what she was saying. She was processing, thinking, having a conversation with herself in her head. And that is not what channeling is. Channeling is communicating. In terms of an orientation, a place that channeling comes from your heart center. Now, I don't want you to think about that as like channeling from your heart center, like being in that energetic frequency of your heart center. Yes, that's part of it. But the actual orientation, the actual place that you are channeling from is through the heart center. So the center of you becomes that place. And there's a reason for that, because when you are in that space and place, you're not in your head. You cannot be in your head and in your heart center at the same time. So we do lots of work on reorientation, bringing yourself back into there. And you're not thinking about what you're saying. You are communicating it in a way that is completely untainted, uncolored, uninfluenced by you. So it's the state of being that you experience that will allow you to know that you are channeling your guardian angel. This is given that you have already connected with your guardian angel through the channel of clarity process. There's no way it can be any other energy when you've connected through the channel of clarity process. And the other thing, Chris, which is really important, is that everything that comes through your guardian angel, in order for it to be fully, what's the word? In order for it to be complete, you must apply it to your life. There will be an answer given, which you must apply to your life, put into action, make reality in some way. And remember, they're only next steps and they're only small things. But through that practical application, it is validated. There is evidence. It is something which any doubts are dissolved, because you have asked a question, you have received the answer, you have applied it to your life. And the truth of that is apparent and clear.
Wow. All right now. Woo. All right. Just a few more digging questions I wanted to ask. Your children, what do they think about all of this? And is it something that they're interested in? Did they feel like, Mom, this is a little different? What is their opinion about it?
Oh, that's a good question. So 19, traveling the world with a 19 and a 15-year-old is interesting. And it is wonderful. I mean, someone would have said to me a few years ago, you're gonna live as an entire family traveling the world all together all the time. I would have been a bit like, how's that gonna work? Oh, it's really lovely. So in terms of my work, they're really different to me. And they're really different to Eddie. We've got our own kind of approach to life and our attitudes to life, and they are very different, and it's very healthy. They, in terms of their guardian angels, they both know their guardian angels because they asked. So I would never, oh, here's your guardian angel. That's not the way we roll. I remember Manny must have been like 5 when he wanted to connect with his guardian angel. Wow. So I did that for him. I did a guardian angel reading and said it wasn't until he was 16. So very, very recent. He was like, yeah, okay, I want to do that. And I was never pestering or bothering. It was just like, you just tell me if at any point you want to, I'd be so glad to do that for you. Aww. So they know their guardian angels. Yeah. So they know their guardian angels.
And they can communicate with them?
No.
Oh, okay.
And they're not interested to do so, quite honestly. I've spoken to them every now and again. I'll say, if ever you want to learn to channel, probably about a month ago, Zed has a lot of questions. Our oldest has a lot of questions about the world and about stuff. He's really interested. So they do jiu-jitsu. They love jiu-jitsu, and they've got other interests, lots of other interests. And they want to know in a succinct and clear way, honest answers to things that are bothering them, to do with food, to do with all different types of things, their health, all different types of things. And so I felt that the route for them would be learning to channel themselves, but they ask Trissan.
Oh.
So, yeah. So if they have a question that they want to know an answer to, they will ask Trissan because they see how Trissan guides us. They see the truth of Trissan and what how he communicates and what he communicates. And so slowly over time, they've started to ask Trissan more and more questions, and they apply it to life. And the important thing is that they'll say something like, that makes sense. That's one of the first things they'll say. That makes sense. Or, yeah, I'd never have thought about it like that. Or something that happens is, I kind of had a sense about that. But the way that Trissan communicates with them is completely different to the way that I communicate with him. He often contradicts me, which is quite interesting and funny, and presents things in a very clear, straightforward, like really paring it back to just no fluff, no fill, just direct information. And they love it. So that's the way that things work with Trissan and their guardian angels.
Wow. And now when they communicate with him, are they just asking out into the universe? Or they
ask me.
Oh, they ask you. Okay.
Yeah. Because they'll say something like, in one example, so like CTE, like head injury, right? So just Zed really likes, doing jiu-jitsu and he was worried about CTE. And he said, oh, can you ask Trissan about CTE? And I was like, when you ask your guardian angel a question, this is what, the boys know, and what I teach people is you have to be really clear about what you're actually asking. You can't just say, can you tell me about CTE? It's not, you have to be specific. You have to form a question in a very particular way, which is a reflection of what you're actually wanting to know. You can't just delegate responsibility, because that's when information comes through in a very unsatisfactory, vague way. Ask a vague question, get a vague answer. Ask a specific question and get a specific answer. So that was really helpful to him. And the answer that he got back specifically about the CTE stuff led him to develop a particular technique in the work that he does, which means that he can avoid CTE. And also it means that through the way that he interacts with others through that sport, it won't induce it in them either, which is pretty cool.
Wow. Wow. Okay. For the answer back. Yes. We love that. We love that. Okay. That's cute. That's cute. Wow. I wanted to ask you if your guardian angel had a motto or a catchphrase that they would often say to you, what would it be?
That's a good one. Eddie says, like, when Trissan says things, when I ask him stuff, he never says no, right? Guardian angels never say no. But he'll say something like, it would be wise to. It would be wise to. So in terms of like a catchphrase, it would be wise to is like his way of saying, come on, get with the program. But also, like Eddie says, when Trissan says something, like it's the understatement of the year. You know, we've had so many funny things happen. You know, when he says something like that, it's very understated, but it's like the understatement of the year. Be wise to, that means in other people's language, that would be something else. That's his way of saying, like, for example, he's directing us to travel and explore higher altitudes. And I really like high altitude. I love mountains. I love being up high. It's just really great to me. Coming back down, going back up. And I asked him about something to do with before we got here, the next step. And he came back round to, it would be wise to, it would be wise to, it would be wise to continue to, you know, that he will bring you back to the question that you haven't actually actioned or heard correctly. So that would, it would be wise to.
It would be wise to. I love that. I love that. Hey, it reads, it says a lot right there, right? It would be wise to. You're like, okay. All right then.
It's polite way. Right. It's polite talk for you just really haven't listened to a word I've just said.
Yeah, it is a polite way. It is really a polite way, but it gets you right on in. And you're like, oh, okay. All right. What do you believe the world would be like if more people were in regular communication with their guardian angels?
Oh, it'd be a wonderful place. It really would. It would be so completely different. I mean, I could give you some obvious things like, you know, there would be peace. There would be so much abundance and connection between people. I think that the way that I would answer that is that how they help you to transcend your own ego, right? So I'm Ros, and I am a guardian angel communicator, but I'm also Ros, and I've got my own opinions and I've got my own points of view. And because I grew up in the 70s, I don't know, I think we had stuff that we really wanted to fight for and we really wanted to say, and maybe it's just nostalgia, but I remember being really quite vocal about things as I grew up. And that same kind of like, this is my opinion and this is what I think, can come up in my character. And there have been points in recent times, you know, in the last maybe 3 years, where I have really wanted to like say stuff, really quite radical stuff. Now, this is where it's important to know that we all have a role, right? There are some people who are there to stand up and shout, or there are some people who are there to, you know, get onto the streets. There are some people who are there to, you know, put themselves on the line in particular or certain ways, but we all have a role to play. And I really wanted to go down that ego, which it was for me, route at times, say how I thought it was. And Trissan said to me that it is important that we unify, that we don't make anyone wrong or bad for the way that they see things or the way that they think, that our job is to bring people together and not to ostracize, isolate people because of a stance or a stand that you personally make. That's not what you're here to do. You are here to bring people together, not to highlight differences, but to bring together connection. That was hard for me.
I'm sure he got you together real quick. Like, whoa, like, wait a minute.
He did. But we all have a role to play. And that was not my role. So in terms of that question, it takes you out of ego, whatever that ego reaction, whatever that, and it's not the same as passion. It's not the same as communicating in a way that is from heart. It was very ego for me. And I think that is really what causes so many problems. This insistence to be right, to know the truth, to want everyone else to see things the way that you do. That is what guardian angels will help to just remove. I think that would be what it would be like if everyone communicated with their guardian angels.
Wow, I love it. What a great answer. And what a great opportunity it would be. It would be a different world that we would be living in. For sure. For sure.
Definitely.
Well, I like to ask all my guests this final question. Is your glass half empty or half full?
Oh, yeah, always half full. Yeah. Yeah. It's not even half full. It's just like, it's full. It's always full. Like, and I'll answer this question in another way. I have a real enjoyment of enough, right? I love enough. For me, the feeling of enough, sufficient, not lack or just about enough, but like enough, plenty is what my glass half full is about. It's like that contented feeling of enough, being enough, having enough. That is really the way that I would also answer that question.
Ooh, Ros, I love it. Yes, what a fantastic answer. I'll be borrowing that. Yes, the feeling of enough. So good, so good.
It's such a lovely feeling. It's so, you feel so secure and so safe and so able to be and do what's important when have and feel that enough. It's just such a exquisite feeling. It's lovely. So yeah, that's my half. That's my glass half.
I love it. Great answer. Thank you so much. Can you tell us, do you have any final thoughts for our listeners? Anything that you gave us so many amazing things, but anything you want to leave off with us?
Yeah, so I think that we've talked about like loads of different things today, and I think it's really important to at this point bring it back to like, what can I do with this? How can I make a start? Like, how can I put all of this into action in my life in some way? One of the ways, we haven't talked about this today, but one of the ways that guardian angels communicate with you is through the world around you. And through the world around you, a wonderful way of that happening is through numbers. Like, who sees 1111? I do. Who sees 333? How much excitement and happiness is there when you just see, like, you get a till receipt and it's got your favorite number on it, you see license plates, they're all around you. And so I would recommend that. I've created a really nice little helpful guide for people, which shows them what numbers that they might see or they might be drawn to as they're out and about really mean in terms of what their guardian angel is trying to tell them. And it's just a really nice ground floor, grassroots way of you beginning to make sense of what your guardian angel is communicating to you.
I love that. I love that. And can you tell everyone how can they reach you if they want to find out more about you? And also, do you do readings online as well over?
Yes.
I wasn't sure if it was that in person as well.
Oh yes, so all of my readings I can do with you wherever you are in the world. My website, if you want to read about that, is angelswithros.com, and you can reach me if you'd like to you can email me, hello@rosplace.com. Also, I'm on Facebook. I don't do post loads and loads, but you'll be able to keep up with my travels and what I'm up to if you want to send me a friend request at Facebook. I'm Ros Place. If you look me up, I'll be delighted to say hi.
I love that. Thank you so much. And all of this information will be listed under the episode when it's released, so they can be able to find it easily and can easily contact you from there as well. Thank you so much. You're very welcome, Ros. Thank you so much for taking some time out. It's been a beautiful conversation, a lot of great information to know, and such a special thing to talk about, and such a wonderful gift that you have. I'm so glad that you are using it to help other people be able to make better connections with their guardian angels. And what an amazing thing to know that is existing in here, that people are communicating with guardian angels. And that we all have one. Everybody listening, you all have one. So you're never alone, which some of us already know that. But for some people who needed to hear it again, that we are not alone. So thank you so much for all of your amazing information, your insight, your intuition, and your vulnerability to share with us about your own personal life. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. And really sincerely, thank you for providing this space so that people can really share in this safe space this information which can reach people. So sincerely, thank you.
Yes, my pleasure, my pleasure. We thank you. You have a grand and great rest of your day today. We thank you for your time. We'll be in touch real soon. Thank you for tuning in to another inspiring episode of our podcast. I'm your host, Chris Levins, and I want to express my gratitude to each and every one of you for being a part of our supportive community. Remember, Glass Half Full is not just a podcast. It's a safe platform for everyone to share their life experiences. Your stories and voice matter, and we appreciate you for being here with us. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to stay updated with our future content, please subscribe, follow, and rate our podcast on Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us reach even more listeners who can benefit from these valuable life experiences. As we wrap up this episode, always keep in mind, you are blessed. No matter the challenges you face, there's a reservoir of strength within you. Until next time, stay positive. And remember, the glass is always half full. See ya! Hello, listeners of Glass Half Full. Thank you for tuning in to another inspiring episode of our podcast. I'm your host, Chris Levins, and I want to express my gratitude to each and every one of you for being a part of our supportive community. Remember, Glass Half Full is not just a podcast. It's a safe platform for everyone to share their life experiences. Your stories and voice matter, and we appreciate you for being here with us. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to stay updated with our future content, please subscribe, follow, and rate our podcast on Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us reach even more listeners who can benefit from these valuable life experiences. As we wrap up this episode, always keep in mind, you are blessed. No matter the challenges you face, there's a reservoir of strength within you. Until next time, stay positive. And remember, the glass is always half full. See ya!